Hi guys, our friend Marina Purkiss clashed with Tory MP Peter Bone on Brexit of all things. Peter is either lying to the public or lying to himself because he claims that everything is going really well and Boris Johnson got Brexit done. Now the context here is the damning letter from Nadine Dorries a few days ago which called Rishi Sunak's administration corrupt and held Boris Johnson in high esteem. Johnson of course lied about Brexit and wasn't punished over it. Marina rightly called Peter out on each of these points, but it shows that even as support for leaving the European Union declines, there are still some supporters out there.
And yes, Sunak has and continues to demean his office, but what I can't bear is the brass neck and delusion of the woman saying that who was an enabler, a facilitator, ultimate fangirl of Boris Johnson, who dragged that office into disrepute, who demeaned the office, who lied and lied and lied, who paved the way for corruption. So how on earth do you, just because now she's bitter because she didn't get her peerage, she's now spilling the beans. Just let's be clear, if she had her peerage, she wouldn't be doing this. She wouldn't be talking about this. It'd be like, do you know what, I'm looked after, I'll keep stum. But no, she says something else which I thought was interesting. She said, you put personal ability above the stability of the country and economy.
Personal ambition.
Ambition, absolutely. Can you think of anyone else other than Boris Johnson who has done that more dangerously and in a way that has damaged the country anymore? He did exactly that.
Peter might say Tony Blair, I don't know. You know, I mean, there's all kinds. It's not uncommon in politics, is it?
I think the fact that Boris Johnson won one of the biggest Conservative majorities.
Because he lied, Peter. Can we just establish that he said that he was going to get Brexit done, he had an oven-ready deal, people believed him, and what happened?
And we got Brexit done and we delivered a great success in that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
so, which is why
we're not in the European Union.
Why Rishi Sunak has had to now
let Peter finish. Let Peter finish.
Well, look, if you're talking about Brexit, we're out of the European Union. We don't pay billions and billions of pounds each and every year to the European Union. We've ended the free movement of people. We make our own laws in our own country, judged by our own judges. And we have a free trade, free quota agreement with the European Union.
Oh my God,
that is delivering exactly what Boris Johnson promised.
Those points I could pick apart. Yes,
Go on, then try.
We don't pay billions to the EU as part of our membership. We now hemorrhage billions lost to the Treasury because of lost output. We've ended freedom of movement, and your government is now having to roll back on this and grant visas here, left, right and centre because we can't...
We ended the free... People cannot just walk into this country.
Oh my goodness, you know, people can't just walk into this country. And what are the consequences of that? Businesses can't access the workers they need. We're not sending billions to the European Union. Yet that money was to have access to the single market. That's no longer the case. Now businesses are closing if they're not already relocating into the EU. That's the consequence of Brexit. Boris Johnson promised sunlit uplands, or he promised an El Dorado if the UK left the European Union. What about Northern Ireland? The situation there. From October, it seems that many goods will be rejected from production in Northern Ireland going into Great Britain. Czechs were supposed to be, taking back control. Boris Johnson, we're going to take back control. We're going to be able to check goods coming in and out of the country. Well, the business secretary, Jacob Rees-Mogg at the time, a few years ago, said we're actually not going to carry out checks because it'd be too expensive. And then what about the money for the NHS? That was the biggest lie probably of them all. That was the one that I think sealed the deal for a lot of people. A lot of people were concerned about the NHS, and the Tories and Vote Leave or whoever was responsible for that campaign bus knew exactly what they were doing. They knew it was a lie, and they knew it would push a number of buttons. It would push the right buttons in people's minds because they were concerned about the NHS. They saw it declining over the Tories, over Tory rule over the last number of years when they came in 2010. And people were concerned about the NHS. Look, there's not enough money for the NHS. Why are we sending all this money to the European Union when we could spend it on our own? And we saw how that worked out. Johnson even defending it about a year and a half ago, before he resigned. Saying, yeah, in a select committee, yeah, well, that we did spend money on the NHS, but it wasn't that 350 million or whatever. Lie after lie after lie, telling businesses in Northern Ireland there'd be no checks when his government was putting in place the infrastructure to carry out checks. Just lie after lie, just to benefit Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson didn't understand Brexit. Boris Johnson didn't care about Brexit. It was a tool for him to get into number 10. And you still have people like Peter Bone defending that. Can Peter Bone point to one actual benefit? Because he said here, we're not spending money yet, but there's a consequence for not sending money to the European Union. These trade deals with Australia and New Zealand and others, they're not helping Britain. And he says we have a free trade deal with the European Union. No, that's not a free trade deal. He doesn't understand what free trade is. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.